Broadcasting live from Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, this is Tap Tap Concede. Hey everybody, welcome to another Tap Tap Concede. I'm Graham, as usual, and Kathleen is back.
Yay.
Nice to have you back, Kathleen.
Yay.
And joining us this week is Alex again.
Scoop it up.
And Cam.
Does it resolve?
It resolves. You want to lean in on that, Mike. And we're going to be talking about some Born of the Gods spoilers, because we're into spoiler season, and there's some pretty cool-looking spoilers and stuff. We're going to talk about one specifically. I think each of us has one that they want to talk about, and then we're also going to, I think, maybe just look at the new mechanics a little bit, like Inspired and Tribute, because those seem pretty cool.
That tribute,
First of all, why don't we talk about our own spoiler card?
And yes, actually, that's a good point. Let's do that, and then we'll move on to our Crack-A-Pack. So we got our spoiler card. Which
Graham?
Yes.
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, that's a great question.
I didn't put a "Who let the dogs out" joke in the video. It's probably for the best.
I still like... I still
Thank
like
you.
my nickname of you came to the wrong neighborhood. Because it's just like, hey, you're just picking on one guy. And then suddenly he gets bigger and his two friends show
Or
up.
it's like that animated GIF where the guy goes, and his two friends like materialize from behind him.
Yeah.
Like, uh-oh.
So our spoiler card, which you've probably seen the video for by now, is called Raised by Wolves. And I think it's great. I think it's going to be very, very good and limited. It's 3 green. So it's a 5-drop creature enchantment. That the creature gets +1/+1 for each wolf you control, and you're thinking, meh? But it comes with 2/2/2 wolves. So it's like, even if they can still deal with that creature, you get these 2/2/2s. Like it's the sort of
Double bears.
You remember how like creature enchantments used to be really bad in limited because it was very easy to just kill the creature and 2-for-1 the person who cast the thing. And then in Return to Ravnica, they started to get a lot better. And you had Knightly Valor in Return to Ravnica. You remember Knightly Valor?
Oh yeah,
I
it was
don't.
5 and it came with two knights.
No, it came with 1/2/2 Knight with Vigilance.
Oh right, but it was 5 to cast.
It also gave the creature +2/+2.
Right.
I think
Yeah, and
that
it was a
Yeah,
5-drop.
+2/+2
yeah,
in Vigilance.
and that was good. That was a really good.
Well, because it
aura.
came with a dude.
Yeah, and it ended up being, a pretty high pick because even if they can kill it or kill the creature, you still get this 2/2 out of it, right? So for 5, that's pretty good. In this, you're getting 2 bears for 5 mana, and this creature gets a +2/+2, possibly more so if you have other wolves, but I don't think we've seen any other wolves yet.
I
I
think
assume there's other wolves.
the other wolves thing is kind of could be relevant for constructed, but whatever. You're getting
well,
6 power.
Guess what's in standard?
Mutavault.
And Howl of the Night Pack if you want to
Yeah.
get goofy, but yeah, Mutavault.
Well,
Yeah, Mutavault
that seems less
like the
likely,
obvious
but yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're going to play that in Standard, it goes with Mutavault.
But
I don't
yeah,
think any other wolves
but
have
I
been
mean,
spoiled yet.
The
No.
thing is, like,
As of recording on this
there's
Friday.
definitely ways to abuse it in standard, but it's gonna be good and limited.
Yeah,
So
I think it'll
that's
be great and limited.
Though soft to a couple of the black removal spells, the one that...
Yeah.
Well, it's like any sort of instant speed answer to that, like a bounce effect or a kill spell, while you have the enchantment on the stack is going to ruin you, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but-
it still has it's still vulnerable to the same things that a lot of creature enchantments are good at, but it provides a bit of robustness.
It's a good card.
Yeah, and if they kill the creature in response to you casting it, that sucks. But if they kill the creature after the fact, you've still got these 2/2s. So at least you didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's really good. And as we mentioned in the video, sick Raymond Swanland value. I love Raymond Swanland, and I think his art is great. And I love that it's specifically I love that it's a Leonin, that it's a cat that's been raised by wolves. I think that's really cute.
kitty
That's
raised
why,
by wolves.
That's why I made it a tap cat that you cast on, so we can further talk about how everything you've known about cat-dog relations is crumbling before your eyes.
I love the density of card nicknames in that video. We got Tap Cat, Gary, and you came to the wrong neighborhood. Didn't have one for Freaka's Cure, which you'd never seen before because you're not you don't really play much limited. You're like, why does a cure?
It's just
hurt?
like, here, just drink this snake oil. You'll be fine.
Well, the cure is because you also gain 2 life off of it.
Oh,
So you're
so you cure me by
killing
dead.
the creature. Yeah, exactly. So
Kind of
Anyway.
like Robert Smith and the Cure.
yeah. So thanks very much to Wizards for giving us
Bazing.
that spoiler card, and we will talk more about other spoiler cards after our
What's crackling?
Oh,
I haven't rolled
our
this thing
pack
yet.
Have you not?
No.
All right, roll it up.
Hook a brother up.
So we still have a lot of whammies in here.
Oh dear, no whammies. Come on, one time, give us no
Three
whammies.
homelands in there still?
More than 3.
Show it to me.
Oh.
What do we got? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, we're looking at
Fallen Empires.
Fallen Empires.
Does that count as a whammy?
Well,
My set.
you narrowly avoided homelands
I
again.
feel that this
Come
is just
on,
going to end up
Ication
as all
Javelineers.
homelands by the end of that.
I think there's still like 5 or 6 packs of
Ugh.
homelands. Someone sent us a lot of homelands. Okay. Come on.
Well, there's some like not the worst cards in Fallen Empires.
Well,
It's
yeah,
true.
there's him. There's
All right. Our first one. Hey, it's a creature enchantment.
Whoa.
Feral's Mantle. It is 2 and a white. If target creature attacks and is not blocked, I guess that means the enchanted creature? Yes. If enchanted creature attacks and is not blocked, it may deal X plus 2 damage to any other target creature where X is the power of the creature Feral's Mantle enchants.
So
If it does so, it deals no damage to opponent this turn. I'm going to look up the Oracle text on this because that is weirdly
Okay.
so
worded.
it like half fights if it gets
sounds
through.
like if it goes through, if it's unblocked, you can redirect the damage
with a bonus.
with +2 to a creature they control, which means it'll always be blocked.
Because why would they let you just kill any creature when they can choose exactly which creature to kill? Okay, yeah. Whenever enchanted creature attacks and is not blocked, its controller may have it deal damage equal to its power +2 to another target creature. If that player does, the attacking creature assigns no combat damage this turn.
Huh.
so it doesn't make it hard to block. Doesn't do anything for it in combat.
No.
But it just makes it very likely to be blocked.
So,
I give
Garbo.
It's like
That card is bad.
Hey, I remember this card. Thrall Retainer.
oh thralls. They were
Uh,
a thing in Fallen Empires.
It is a single black
Ooh, value.
for a... this is a creature enchantment.
oh.
This is not a creature. This is an enchantment. Target creature gets +1/+1. Sacrifice Thrall Retainer to regenerate the creature it enchants.
That's actually
That
pretty
actually
good.
doesn't seem so bad.
This Thrall looks like it's retaining water.
Ew.
It's basically it's like a ghetto totem armor.
Yeah.
That's gross.
It is gross.
But actually not the worst.
What were the other weenie creatures back in that day? There were Thralls in black, and what were in green?
Thalids.
Thalids. Hey,
I love
look.
Thallid.
Reprinted in Modern Masters. It's Thallid. It's 1/1 for 1 green. During your upkeep, put a spore counter on Thallid. Remove 3 spore counters to put a 1/1 sapperling into play.
It's the Thallid Bowl.
The Thallid Bowl.
Thallid
Or,
Bowl.
as the wording is here, for 0 colorless mana, remove 3 spore counters from Thallid to put a sapperling into play. Treat this token as a 1/1 green creature.
Which art did we get? The good art.
Nice. So if you slice this guy into pieces, would you have a chopped thallid?
Womp womp.
Oh. Hey! Ication Javelineers.
Oh man,
that
these guys
card.
are so sick.
These guys are actually really good.
Yeah.
So it's 1/1 for 1 white. When Ication Javelineers is brought into play, put a javelin counter on it. Tap to remove the javelin counter and deal 1 damage to any target.
I actually really like this card.
Yeah.
Like I have a soft spot for this dude.
Well, this was like a popper thing with Core Sky.
Yeah, it's like this 1-drop guy that can ping once, and I mean he's got the soldier subtype, so that's not even that bad.
No.
And it's also like super flavorful because it's like
Yeah.
okay, now I got no javelin.
What's better than fog?
Double fog.
What's better than frost breath? It's
Frost Fog?
Spore Cloud.
Ooh.
Instant, 1 green. Tap all blocking creatures. No creatures deal damage in combat this turn. Neither attacking nor blocking creatures untap as normal during their controller's next untap phase.
What?
That is the worst card I've ever heard.
Okay.
Why would you assign blocking creatures if you're gonna?
Fog.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any
So
sense.
if you have this, don't assign blocking creatures because they get tapped as well.
No, you know where you run that, Graham? You run that in a commander deck and you do it when 2 other people are fighting.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Like, that's a troll card.
Oh, I remember this guy.
Uh-oh.
Mind Stab Thrall.
Oh boy, I hope we got the one with the
Is
bomb.
Is it the one that looks like the thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a 2/2 for 1 black. If Mind Stab Thrall attacks and is not blocked, you may sacrifice it to force the player it attacks to discard 3 cards. If you do so, it deals no combat damage during combat this turn. If that player does not have enough cards, his or her entire hand is discarded.
That seems real good.
I love the wording. You may sacrifice it to force the player it attack to
You
discard 3
have
cards.
to.
I love that he has like a little like arm belt of different tools with which to stab your mind.
Oh wow.
He's got 4 arms.
He's gonna.
But he has to get through unblocked.
Those
right?
are lock picking tools to your brain.
Yeah.
So that's unique. How much does he cast for?
3.
3.
yeah.
All
He's
right.
a 2/2 for 3.
Yeah, 2/2 for 3. Like he swings on turn 4.
Mark Tadine.
Yeah. Homerid Warrior.
Oh man, we're 3 for 3 on like the tribes from this block.
4 and a blue for a 3/3. And has the activated ability for a single blue. Homerid Warrior may not be the target of... gets Shroud and does not untap during your next untap phase. If Homerid Warrior is untapped, tap it.
What?
So it's for 1 blue, tap it, it doesn't untap next turn, and it gains Shroud.
So it gets in an egg.
Oh, perfect. That's fantastic.
It goes back
I can,
inside
I
its
can
shell, I
protect
guess.
my 3/3 that
like,
I spent
meh.
5 casting.
Wow, it looks like a kaiju.
Well, he is hard to remove.
Yeah. And
Doesn't die to removal.
here's our last one.
Yo,
This guy seems pretty
is
okay.
it the rare?
I don't know what's the rare. I don't even know if there are rares. I think there might just be uncommons.
No, there are rares in the set.
Okay. Well, this one is the Order of Lightbur.
Oh, great card.
2/1 for white. Protection from black. For white, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
yeah.
And for white, it gets first strike until end of turn.
Good
Knights.
old-fashioned pump knights. The black counterpart to this is part of the Necropotent deck.
Was it the Order
Yeah.
of the Ebon Hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the aggro creature that would just do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig this guy,
Yeah, that seems good. I mean,
which is good because most of these cards are pretty bad in comparison to the
I've
cards
seen
of
this
today.
guy. I think I've seen him played in White Weenie before in Highlander, but I'm not sure because there's a lot of like better uses for white than this
Yeah.
guy.
But I mean, he's fine.
Yeah.
If you have nothing else, like, if I kind of want to get together a 6-pack Fallen Empires draft at some point, and then it's just like tough call between the Icacian Javelineers and the Order of Lightbur, right?
Yeah.
all right. I've
'cause,
taken out the 3 cards that are just unplayable.
So what's our first pick here?
I'm taking the Order of Lightbur. I think that guy's great.
Yeah,
I think Javelineers kills it though.
true.
Yeah.
Although, just like in a vacuum, this guy seems way more powerful because like you can pump him. He's got pro black. You can give him first strike.
It's hard to cast though.
Well, I mean, you're
if you're
in
playing
White
white.
Weenie.
Yeah.
Also, this seems like a pretty slow format.
Yeah, I'd probably take the Order of Lightbur too. For those of you wondering, the cards I set aside immediately as being just trash were the Feral's Mantle. Yeah, the Feral's Mantle, the Homerid Warrior, and the Spore Cloud.
Homerid War is
Yeah, I
probably
think
not that
Homerid-
bad.
Yeah, like it's still a 3/3.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Remember
No,
this
no,
was
okay.
this was before limited was a thing.
Yeah. Also, if I remember Fallen Empires correctly,
3/3 is
3/3
big.
is pretty big.
Yeah.
By the standards of this set.
It's like he's huge. He's a wrecking machine.
But speaking of White Weenie, that is actually a perfect transition to talking about some Born of the Gods spoiler cards because Kathleen wanted to talk about this guy.
And if you've seen any of the spoiler cards, you know what I'm going to talk about. This is Brymaz, King of Oriskos.
Can I just say what the f?
Yeah. Okay, sometimes you look at a card and they're like, all right, I can see that they probably had something in design and then they play tested and it was too powerful, so they added another mana, like they added 1 more colorless mana to it, or they like changed, or they made it like 2 white to cast instead of 1 white and 1, or they like took down the power. You can see where the compromises were probably made on the card. This one, maybe it just snuck through. I don't know.
Let's do just the vanilla test.
All right. Well, it's a 3/4 for 2 white and 1.
Sorry, what?
So
Yeah.
3/4 for 1 white. That seems pretty good right there. I would play that.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Does it-
as no.
Does it have any abilities?
Oh, why it has vigilance.
That's really good stats for a creature with vigilance. 3/4.
Yeah. Difficult to block.
Oh,
Yeah.
and in this format where you've got like 4 is a good number. 3, there's a lot of 3/3s already out there.
I'm
But
also windmilling this guy.
yeah,
like,
it
straight
eats
away.
3/4s. It eats 3/3 centaurs all day, and like any of those, like most of the minotaurs, it just.
All right, great. Well,
Oh, but
good card.
Hold
Oh,
on.
are you not done? Oh,
No,
I'm sorry.
no. So I'm sorry. It has another ability.
Oh.
Whenever it attacks, which you can pretty much very safely because it has vigilance, you put a 1/1 white cat soldier creature token with vigilance
Sorry,
onto
what?
the battlefield, also attacking.
I didn't hear the part where it gets vigilance.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry, so you get a vigilant cat. He brings a friend.
What?
Well,
So-
I, for one, am really grateful that Hero got an upgrade.
Yeah. Cat
Hero
of Bladehold.
Yeah,
okay.
Hero of Bladehold got
so
their
that's
long
pretty good.
necessary upgrade.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, but wait, there's more because
diggity dog.
obviously, because it's vigilant, you can also leave it back to block. And whenever Brismaz blocks a creature, you put a 1/1 cat soldier creature token with vigilance onto the battlefield, blocking that creature as well. What? So you can very safely block up to a 4/4 with this guy.
Dear goodness me. Well, if the creature has 4 power, they'd be crazy not to assign the damage to Brimaz first. But
Yeah.
still,
yeah.
that card is crazy.
Yeah.
Now it's mythic, so it's not going to show up a bunch in. Now, I'm talking limited here, obviously, but still,
You're gonna slam a jam of that guy.
So this guy is good enough to be a commander
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he is.
because
He
he's
is.
a cat soldier.
He is legendary.
He's a legendary, but he's got a really he's got the soldier subtype, right?
1 white for a 3/4 with vigilance is already bonkers, and then the fact that you can easily attack with him any turn because he's a 3/4 with vigilance, and you get bonus kitties.
You get kitties
Now-
no matter what. It's like,
now-
I'm fighting, I'm blocking. I can do both in the same round.
To be entirely fair, Norin is good enough to be a commander.
Yeah.
So
Also, he looks super badass. Some awesome art from Peter Moorbacher there.
He's a very stately looking cat.
So, how excited are you by this cat? Not just for being a cat.
Oh, for just being a really good card, 100%. Like, that card's awesome. He's a mythic,
Yeah.
Thump.
but, I mean, you couldn't have that guy floating around at rare. Too powerful.
Delicious cat.
And then, so yeah, we're very, very excited for that card. It just sounds super bonkers.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow.
I don't really know what else there is to say about it other than just it's
Meow,
crazy
meow.
bonkers.
Meow,
So Cam, you wanted to talk about this dude.
yes, Painseer.
Oh boy.
This guy's bonkers in his own way.
Well, I mean, I think he seems fine.
Yeah.
Painseer is for 1 and a black, a 2/2.
That's very good.
He's
he's-
bears in black. All right.
Yeah, he's a human wizard. However, he uses one of the new mechanics in this block, or in this set, which is inspired. So, back in the days of yore, specifically your better cards than this, there was a card called Bob, Dark Confidant, who
Bob
is
from
spoken
accounting.
of in hushed terms by ancient Magic players as being part of like this golden age of card design. And whenever, basically, Bob's rule was that during your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library, put it into your hand, lose the amount of life equal to its converted mana cost. I'm
So
probably getting
the-
the wording slightly messed up on that.
But the point is, you basically you get to draw an extra card, but it hurts you.
Yeah, he was a Phyrexian Arena with a body.
Yeah.
So
Phyrexian Arena
if, so
was
if he was
well,
hurting you
Phyrexian
too much,
Arena
you could
did-
just
yeah.
throw him
Yeah,
in front of something, which
Phyrexian
was
Arena
nice.
was just one.
one.
But
So,
he's like
okay.
dumb powerful.
Yeah. Painseer does that whenever he untaps. So, compared to Bob, you don't get it turn 3. So you resolve Painseer turn 2. With Bob, you would get it turn 3 on your upkeep. With Painseer, he has to be tapped in some way, right? So you have to swing in with him, which,
That's fine.
yeah, that seems fine. However, there are lots of good ways to tap down a creature the turn it comes out, specifically in Born of the Gods, with things like Springleaf Drum. Tap Springleaf Drum, tap a creature you control, add mana of any color to your mana pool. Seems fine. In Constructed, there are also cards like Hidden Strings or Ral Zarek.
There's even more cards if you're going into like Commander or like
Yeah,
Modern.
any kind of Eternal format. So I think Painseer could actually like have a turn where you untap him several times.
Absolutely.
I like that. They spoil a card like this, and there's much humming and hawing, and like, well, it's not as good as Bob. No,
No, it's not.
It's not as good as this super busted card.
it's never going to be as good as Bob.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
but
well,
they've-
it's no Tarmogoyf.
But they've been printing, cards that are still good and try to get there, right? Like this one and Blood Scrivener most recently, which was a 2/1 for 1 and a black. Like I like the idea of low cost utility black creatures that can still attack. Like you still attack with this guy. He's a bear,
Yeah.
right?
And one of the selling points on Dark Confidant was that 2 power. right? He was a 2/1, so he could still fight, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice to have stuff like this on a body. Because then you can use them to block and get rid of them if you're gonna drawing that card is going to be a problem for you.
Also, yeah, one of the other things is that you don't have to draw that card with Painseer, right? You just don't attack with him, or you don't tap him down. And
So simple.
say, if you've scryed
Something.
Yeah,
Some
some
bomb
large
or
black
something that
creature.
you need. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, with anything with scry too. Imagine this. Imagine that you have the next two things. You've done an effect that's going to scry, and then you untap, and you have a 6 mana dude, and you have a land.
Yeah.
You put the land on top when you scry.
Yeah,
And then and then you draw the land.
I have a prediction.
What's that?
A blue instant, maybe a sorcery. Like, scry some amount, untap target permanent.
Yeah. That would be fun.
I feel like that's a card they would print in this block.
Yeah. Triton Tactics, for instance, also untaps a creature. And is played in like constructed sideboards. So I think Painseer
And will be in this limited format too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, because this is what, 2 packs of Theros, one of
Born of the Gods.
Yeah. So
And you'll draft Born of the Gods first, but
Yeah.
yes. And the
So-
sealed, I think, is going to be just 3 and 3 for now. At the pre-release, it's going to be 3 packs of Theros, 2 packs of Born of the Gods, and 1 seeded pack of Born of the Gods.
Yeah. So
Seeded
With your
Seeded,
colors.
Yeah.
like the
color.
yeah.
So while I think the comparisons to Dark Confidant aren't
I mean, they're
Are-
apt.
they're-
right?
they're apt,
It's a
but they aren't-
2-drop black that does the same effect, but
I think a better comparison might be to something like Shadow Mage Infiltrator.
now Shadow Mage Infiltrator is, to remind people, it's John Finkel's invitational card. It's
Yes.
a 1/3 for 1 blue black with fear. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you attack with him, and then when he deals combat damage to your opponent, which is likely because he has fear, meaning he can only be blocked by artifact creatures or black creatures, then you draw a card.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So you have to attack, and then you
Yeah.
draw a card.
But he
I mean,
also
it's-
sits back and block all day.
He's a
Blocks all
tricksy
day.
hobbit.
yeah, like I'm not convinced that there's really a very good comparison or a very linear comparison you can make for this guy.
Yeah,
I think he's
don't.
his own thing that reminds a lot of people of other good cards.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake to look at cards that have similar effects to older cards and writing them off as not as good.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you look at what was the land destruction card in M14?
Encroaching Wastes.
Yeah, and it was like, well, it's not friggin' wasteland. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not strip mine.
It's like, well, no, it isn't even necessarily as good as Tech Edge, although it's not actually directly comparable to Tech Edge because it does different things. It's just you
different.
you need to look at the card by itself and what it does by itself. And I think Painseer looks sweet.
Yeah, I would utterly. I'm looking forward to playing a terrible deck with 4 Painseer, and like Springleaf Drum and Hidden Strings and Triton Tactics, and just having the Painseer lay down sick beats on that drum all day, unless he's laying down sick beats by swinging in.
That sounds
and
awesome.
I'll call the deck Sick Beats.
Love it. What card were you looking at, Alex?
Well, this actually would be a card that would make a good pairing to Painseer because it was Kiora's Follower.
Oh yeah. Curious Follower.
This is See, I generally wind up assessing new spoiled cards in like their sort of eternal kind of scenario.
Alex
because
is not a limited player.
No, I don't play limited, but I do play Highlander. So I usually end up comparing it across like the entire span of Magic. So I'm like, if this card's sweet, then it's like always sweet. This is a blue and a green for a bear.
Mm-hmm. So it's 2/2.
Yeah. What's his subtype actually?
Merfolk, I believe. Yes.
Also relevant.
Relevant for some of the eternal formats.
And his ability is this is so simple and really great. You tap him to untap another target permanent.
That's it.
So that's it.
Yeah.
But
A permanent.
a permanent. So
Such as like a
anything.
Thran Dynamo, maybe?
Or
Exactly. So it's like
Gaia's
Oh,
Cradle.
Yeah.
yeah, Gaia's Cradle. So early
Nick
on,
Thos.
he's like a good.
Oh, Nick
What's
Thos.
it?
Jeez. Wow.
Although he probably doesn't go in the Devotion deck.
Well, there you go. It's like you untap relevant lands, even just like a basic is fine because he's ramping you. He's like Arbor Elf, only super Arbor Elf, because he untaps anything. So like a land, you're ramping yourself, probably fixing yourself, and then like you said, any sort of artifact that gives you mana, you're happy to untap, especially if it is something like Mana Vault, Grim Monolith, that sort of thing. I mean, he untaps Time Vault, so that's a thing.
I mean, so let's look at that land comparison, and let's compare it more directly, like within the world of Theros Limited. Voyaging Satyr was a card from Theros, which was it was a 1/2 for 1 and a green, tap to untap target land.
This is a cat hair.
Thank you,
Baxter
Kathleen.
hair.
So
It's like
Distressing.
6 inches long.
So that was generally a pretty high pick in like any Theros green deck, and green blue happened to be really good. So instead of 1 and a green, it's a blue and a green. So it's harder to cast. You know, it puts you into a second color, but you get a 2/2. So he can attack if you want him to. Like, so that just on the basis of that, like directly comparing him to a Voyaging Satyr, that seems fine. But the fact that he can untap anything seems really, really good, especially
powerful.
with all these inspired cards. Now, I guess we didn't really go into it, but the inspired mechanic is just when this creature untaps, something happens.
Yeah.
So for the Pain Seer, it was when the creature untaps, you do the same effect as Dark Confidant, which is you reveal a card, lose life equal to its converted mana cost, and put it into your hand. But there's other cards, like there's cards that when they untap, you can pay a cost and put a token into play. Or there's one that just when you untap, you gain life. You know, like there's a lot of stuff with this inspired mechanic, and this card seems really good for it.
It's pretty exciting. I mean, like there's also, as a friend of mine was describing it, it's like early game ramp and then late game shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd just like to activate this Staff of Nin twice, because why not?
Because who doesn't like drawing cards and dealing damage?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some examples of like goofy things you could untap. It's like creatures with tap effects. I don't know, something like Grim Lavamancer, although that's a weird color combination to be in.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could just be untapping all sorts of goofball stuff. Also, just give your guys vigilance.
So the card that I want to talk about that I'm very excited about is Mogus, because he seems like an absolute beating.
Ruh-roh.
So Mogus, God of Slaughter.
Mogus god of rock and roll.
Yeah, because he looks super metal.
He's playing a bass in that picture,
Yeah.
actually. They just shopped out the bass and replaced it with an axe.
So he's a 7/5 indestructible legendary enchantment creature god for 2 black red.
Which is disgustingly... Like,
That's
they have pushed
cheap.
that.
Now, of course, he's only an enchantment until you get up to 7 devotion. Now, the way that the multicolor gods work, so the monocolor gods were all you had to get to 5 devotion, and they themselves had 1. So these guys you have to get to 7 devotion, but they themselves have 2 because it counts red and black.
Right.
And there's a lot of cards that are like black and colorless, or red and colorless. I don't think these guys are going to be
As
as
difficult
difficult to
get on.
activate as you might think by
I
seeing
think they
7.
might actually be easier to get online than the
Because
monocolor gods.
if you're in 2 colors, and if you're in those 2 colors, all your permanents
Are in
will
those
count
colors.
towards those.
Which is
So-
nice, because a lot of the time, like, my experience with playing with the monocolored gods is sometimes you can get them online, but a lot of the time you stalled out at 3 because you weren't typically playing a monocolored deck. You were playing a 2-color deck,
Yeah.
right?
It seems a lot easier. And it's
Or they
like-
would come online and they'd go offline again, right?
I feel like you're gonna want to get like 2 or 3 permanents could probably get you there. Maybe
Well,
4.
like, okay, because he counts himself, right?
Yeah.
So,
So you
Cackler,
only have to get 5 others.
Cackler, Frostburn, Weird, and
Something on turn 3.
Night Veil Spectre. Which,
Done.
yeah, that's
1,
that's
2,
6
3, 4,
devotion.
5. Yeah. So yeah, turn 1 Cackler, turn 2 Frostburn Weird, turn 3 Night Veil Spectre, turn 4 this guy, and he's already a creature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a 7/5.
Vomit.
Sure is Grixis around here.
So, but regardless of that, even before he becomes a creature, he has a static enchantment
Oh,
ability,
boy.
which is at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. Each opponent, hello commander, Mogus deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature.
That is
High
disgusting.
control.
Yeah, so that's really good. An aggro, that's like, oh.
It's like
And-
a sulfuric vortex that's actually just the worst for your opponent.
Yeah,
It doesn't
and
do anything
I,
to you.
I won't be the first to say this, and I certainly won't be the last, but this is just screaming to have him be the commander of a Minotaur tribal deck. I mean, he himself is not a Minotaur, but he's the perfect god. I mean, he is a Minotaur, but he does not carry that creature type. Like, he's a Minotaur god, but he's not functionally a Minotaur.
Each
like how
opponent,
Fasa is into Merfolk.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many good Minotaur, and you can finally use remember we opened in that pack of Homelands a little while ago, the Inaba Shaman, for example. You know, he finally has a commander deck where he can be relevant.
Home at last.
Yeah, like that just seems like a deck that has to happen. But Mogus looks super, super awesome.
Sweet.
He's the god that's impressed me the most so far, but I'm really excited to see what happens with Phoenix. Because as of recording this, the Dimir god, Phoenix, has not been spoiled yet. We've had Ifara, Mogus, Xenagos, and Karametra.
Those are going to be the 3 in this set.
Well, there's 5 in this set, and there's 5 in Journey into Nyx.
Oh,
Because there's 10.
Will there be?
Yeah, because there's 10 demigods
Right, 10
of the
demigods.
split colors.
So
So
we're going to get Phoenix, and who else?
well, let's just go through them. So Ifara, god of the Polis, is 2 white-blue for a 6/5 indestructible.
So that's the Azorius god.
7 devotion. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card.
Huh.
So if you play a creature and then pass to your opponent, like if you play a creature on your turn, pass to your opponent, you draw a card on their upkeep.
right.
That's
If you
interesting.
flash in a creature on their turn, you draw 2 cards on your turn.
That sounds like there used to be a mechanic in some older sets, like cards like Portent,
Yeah, that
where
would
you just like
put a
you would
cantrip
draw
on
it
layaway.
later.
Mm-hmm.
You would cantrip, but it would come next
So
turn.
every creature you cast, you get to draw a card. You just get it later, which seems fine. And then if you get the devotion up, she turns into a 6/5. Phoenix has not yet been spoiled. Mogus, we just talked about. Xenagos is...
That guy.
Oh, man. So Xenagos, without losing his spark, if you care about the Vorthos thing, he is still a planeswalker, but he is also a god.
Wait, what? Is that his creature type? Planeswalker god?
No, he's just a god. But in the storyline, he is still a planeswalker. And I hope that I mean, we don't know how this story ends. We don't know what happens in Journey into Nyx. I hope he sticks around, because I would love to have a super powerful planeswalker bad guy who's not Nicol Bolas.
Yeah, actually, yeah. What they've needed for a long time now is a new villain.
Yeah. So I hope... Anyway, so Xenagos, god of revels. 3 red-green for a 6/5 indestructible. You need 7 devotion to turn him into a creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and +X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power.
So you cast a big green baddie,
Oh.
and it becomes a real big green baddie.
Oh.
But then you can use like a debuff spell on him. Lost in the Labyrinth can kill something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Wait, what? Does that actually work?
Yeah,
Yeah, if
because
it's-
it'll get -3. Like if
There was the...
Mind blown.
the champion... No, not Champion of Lamholt.
the
one
in
from
Ravnica.
Return to Ravnica. It was the thing that when she attacks, all the attacking creatures get +X, where X is her power,
So if you drop her power to
and people were using downsize on her to make
to kill their
to
entire
make-
team.
Yeah, to wrath the board.
to give her -5 -0, and then it gave the whole board minus whatever.
What the?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
So
weird.
that seems like a little bit of a corner case,
Yeah,
but
it's like,
still
that's not gonna
worth
happen.
worth knowing
It
about.
feels so good though.
But yeah, Xenagos seems pretty great. Like if you've been curving out and you cast him on 5, then chances are he'll be active when he lands. Like he'll be a creature when he lands. He has a high likelihood. And even if that's not the case, when you untap on your 6th turn and play a giant fatty that then has haste.
Colonian Hydra.
Yeah, you
Right?
play a giant fatty that then this guy gives haste, and he will then be also attacking as a 6/5 indestructible.
Yep.
That seems pretty good.
So speaking of giant fatties, tribute.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, we'll get to tribute in a second,
Oh,
because
boy.
the last god that they've spoiled so far is Karametra, god of harvests. Now,
Yes.
I love Selesnya, and I'm disappointed by Karametra. I don't know.
Yeah, you've been boned.
I'll let you know what you guys think. So, 3 green white.
Yep.
So she's a 5-drop, 6 She's a 6/7 indestructible. If your devotion is 7, then she's a creature. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a forest or plains, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library.
Tapped.
So
It's not basic land.
So you play her
And
on
it comes in
not,
tapped.
well, that's nice that it's
Yeah.
not basic land, but it's like she's 5?
Yeah, so you play her on 5, then you untap on turn 6,
And hopefully
and you
play a creature.
You play a creature, and then you get to have another land come in tapped, and then on turn 7, you're ahead a land. Now-
Now compare that to
Now,
Mogus.
I love Commander, right? I was talking earlier about how Mogus just makes me want to build a Commander deck. And I've had a lot of people be like, well, she's great in Commander. I don't consider that enough of an excuse for her to be this disappointing compared
Yeah.
to the other gods. Even compared to Ifara, who is not like an amazing effect, it's disappointing.
But like Afara cantrip turns all your creatures into cantrips.
Yeah.
Metra is like a junior designer at Wizards was like, oh, I fixed Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
Did you?
And it's I don't know. I consider her pretty disappointing for the, mana ramp when you're already at 5 and then you don't even get to use it until you cast her on turn 5. You don't even get to use the mana ramp advantage until turn 7. I mean, like, she's probably still a first pick just because you're likely to be able to activate her, and then you get she's still a god. You'll still get a 6/7 indestructible attacking creature, but just a very disappointing static effect.
Yeah. It's like if she was maybe like 1 less or the same price and like did that every end step,
Well, considering how
that would be kind of
cheap
sweet.
Yeah.
the other gods have tended to be, like Thassa is what, 4?
Isn't Thassa even cheaper? Isn't Thassa
So
like 3?
Yeah, she might be 3.
yeah,
I
like
thought
this
she was
is
4.
5. She's the same cost as Mogus, and Mogus
Yeah.
makes
No,
her.
Mogus is 4.
Okay,
Yeah, Mogus
okay.
is 4.
So she's more-
Xenagos is 5.
All right, sorry. Yeah, like Xenagos buffs your dudes. Mogus makes people sacrifice. You're drawing cards. We don't know what the blue-black god is doing, and this is getting you tapped land.
It's that so.
That's harsh.
So the becoming a creature and turning into a giant indestructible attacker, obviously that's good. That's good for all of these gods. But her actual godly effect, right? Her God of Harvest ability actually has 0 effect on the game until turn 7 if you drop her on turn 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0 effect. Whereas the other people are already doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I just find that very
Yeah.
disappointing.
Well, and,
even in Commander, where I'm sure she'd be great, and I'll probably be putting her into my Selesnya Commander deck.
Well, just because when you drop her, she will immediately be a 6/7 indestructible,
Pretty
and she'll
much.
thin your deck.
Yeah.
But it's like
But even then, you still are getting no advantage to the board for 2 turns.
just so much worse than prime time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we move on to the last mechanic, I want to do a shout out.
Okay.
We've discussed all the gods,
Oh yeah.
and now way back in December, a girl named Ashley said, "Hey, I really like Greek mythology and reading flavor text, so I have totally figured out all of the gods based on what we saw in the first Theros expansion."
Because there's mentions of all of this, all 10 of them. There's mentions in all the flavor text all through Theros.
Yarp.
So here are her picks. Of course, there's Metra, green white, ding ding, good job. Athreos, white black, which we haven't seen yet, but probably. Farika, black green. Ifara, white blue. Yep, she got correct. Krufix, green blue, haven't seen him yet.
Ooh, excited for Krufix.
Iris, red white.
Oh yes, of course.
Keranos, blue red.
Keranos. Where's Keranos mentioned?
And
in-
lightning strike and steam augury.
Yeah, Steam Augury.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen most of these yet, but
Well, we haven't seen 5.
yeah,
There's going to be 5 in this set and 5 in Journey into Nyx.
yeah. So she got all the ones in this set, so I don't need to read those out to you. But I thought I would read out the ones that are going to be in the next set if you are excited about that. So that's the blue red god, the white red god, the green green blue god, and the black green and the white black god are coming up next set.
Nice.
And that's their names. Good
any-
job, Ashley.
Any obvious Greek mythology parallels?
To those gods? I mean,
Like, would Iris be Ares, or is that?
I mean, it's a little more difficult here.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, Mogus seems an awful lot like God of War.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's very much
Gotta
like
fight you forever.
considering
Ares
that they
was-
pushed Perforos to be more like Hephaestus, the god of
Yeah.
the forge, right? Mogus looks very much like the god of war, which makes a lot more sense. Xenagos, being the god of revels, is
Yeah.
much more like Dionysus, who was the
According to Ashley's reading of it, she believes Iris will be the god of victory because he's an arena athlete, which makes him more of an Athena.
Yeah, an Athena.
that makes sense.
Or her. Do we know that Iris?
we don't
is
No.
we don't
male?
know. No.
It's IROAS. So
It's Phoenix feels a lot more feels like he's sort of in the like Erebos is definitely like in charge of the underworld. Like I
Yeah.
definitely get that impression. But of course everyone was talking about Erebos versus Erebus, I think. Rather than Hades. Phoenix feels like he fills part of that role as well.
Right.
Ifara reminds me a lot of I'm trying to think. I mean, she also reminds me a lot of Athena, to be honest, because she's
Well, Athena
she's
was-
god of the polis, she's god
Yeah.
of the city,
Yeah.
and Athena and
Is
Athens and all that.
Athens, yes.
So there's, I mean, it's all. I don't think there's any good direct.
well,
Yeah.
Comparisons
the thing is, though,
necessarily.
this set also, because it has 5 gods and 10 demigods, are there 15 like big gods in Greek
Not
mythology?
big gods, but there's a lot of minor gods.
Yeah.
So.
So
So 2 more things I wanted to talk about: another mechanic and a cycle. So this is not the best mechanic in the world. This is merely a tribute. Tribute is an interesting mechanic. It's what's the mechanic? It's a something mechanic. It's
Penalty?
no. There's an older card that did it. It's one of those things where they name the thing after an old card. I don't entirely remember, but what it does is it gives your opponent choice, which can be dangerous.
Illusion of choice.
Well, it's
Yeah.
no, it is choice because this is
Yeah.
because the problem is they're always going to get the creature. They're always going to get what they can deal with.
Yeah.
But I think these things are costed fairly well. Like look at this guy, Faragax Giant. He's a common. He's a 3/3 for 5, so that's not great. But he has Tribute 2, meaning as this creature enters the battlefield, an opponent of your choice may place 2 +1/+1 counters on it.
Beef.
So, which will make him a 5/5 for 5, which is great. In red, 5/5 for 5, awesome. So you either get that, or if they do not pay the tribute, then this creature deals 5 damage to each opponent.
Ha!
So let's just look at this in 1-on-1. I'm playing this 3/3. Either he's a 5/5, or you just take 5 damage right now.
Have your counters.
Right? But you don't know if you have a removal spell, right? Then you'd be like, all right, take your counters, and then I kill it.
Yeah.
Or you can be like, well, I can't actually deal with that, but I have more life than you, so whatever, I'll take 5, and then I'll just block your 3/3 all day because it's completely irrelevant, and you've just paid 5 mana for it.
Yeah.
So your opponent is always going to get the option that they can best deal with. But it's none of these that I've seen so far are a great choice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like this is Flame Axe with a Hill Giant stapled to it.
Yeah.
Or a 5/5.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah.
So let's look at this one. So this is a tribute card. This is now that guy was a common. This is a mythic. So this is pretty scary. Thank you. Yep. Okay. I'll cut that out of the final podcast. So this is the Flame Wreathed Phoenix. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. So it's two red for a 3/3 flyer.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. 2 red for a 3/3 flyer is actually okay. It's got Tribute 2, so you can choose to put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Do you want to face a 5/5 flyer for 4? All right. Well, if you don't want to put the counters on it, that's fine. I'll take a 3/3, but it gets haste, and when it dies, I get it back in my hand.
Oh no.
So once again, if you have some sort of removal, right, you can just be like, all right, fine, it's a 5/5, I kill it, because it only gets the when it dies, it comes back to my hand clause.
if you didn't
if
pay
you
the tribute.
Didn't pay the tribute, right? So there's always going to be an option to do it, but these seem really, really cool. So I'm
like-
excited to see how they play.
I'm looking forward to the I think there's probably going to be a demon that edicts
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
on tribute.
Oh,
When you look at Vexing Devil from Avacyn Restored, right, that still got play, even though general theory is it's never a good idea to give your opponent any choice, even if it's choosing between two bad choices.
Yeah.
If they have any choice, that's worse for you than them not having a choice. However, these all seem
Yeah.
like pretty good cards still.
Like, I mean, look at Desecration Demon. You're offering your opponent a choice, therefore it's a bad card, right?
Yeah,
Or like
Or it
fact
could
or
be-
fiction.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like sometimes offering your opponent a choice is okay.
yeah.
Sometimes it's an all right thing to do.
Yeah. And then the one more thing I wanted to talk about is actually a cycle, which we don't have the full cycle for yet. But it's a cycle of instants that do stuff that they all have very powerful effects.
Ah, yes, these.
But if you choose to cast them at sorcery speed during your main phase, you also get to scry 2. So because they just spoiled the blue one, which is really cool. So I'll do that one last. So
they are instants, but you can use them at sorceries, and you get a little upside if you do.
exactly.
Well, actually, isn't it that you can play them during your turn?
Oh, that's
so they
true.
don't have to be
They
played
don't have to
during
be-
No, they're still instants.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they can be played as combat tricks. Or
Sorry,
during
so I
upkeep
was thinking
or-
of what's the blue draw spell? It was reprinted in Modern Masters. It's 2 blue, and you draw a certain number of cards unless it's during
Oh,
your
yeah.
main phase, and then you draw more.
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so do I.
I don't remember the wording. Anyway, I thought it was that, but no. So they're still instants. You can still do them during combat, but if it's during your turn, you also get to scry 2. So that's even better than I thought. So first, a very, very expensive Wrath. 4 white. 7 mana.
But
Destroy all creatures and planeswalkers.
oh boy.
And you know it's a great way to ensure that you'll be okay after you wrath the board? To scry and make
Yeah.
sure that you're drawing the cards you need to for the next couple turns.
Yep.
So that seems pretty good. The green one, 2 green. These are very mono deck, like mono-colored cards. So 2 triple green. Put 2 3/3 green centaur enchantment creature tokens onto the battlefield. If it's your turn, scry 2. So,
So 6 power for 5
at instant speed.
Seems-
Surprise blockers.
Woo!
Yeah, do it during your, and you can even do it. Yeah.
Seems
pretty good.
Seems pretty good, yeah. Fated Conflagration,
Yeah.
which is the buy a box promo. 1 red. Fated Conflagration deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker.
That's interesting.
I was disappointed with Fated Conflagration just because red desperately needs something with 6 reach to deal with Desecration Demon.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
Good point.
But
Spaghetti.
maybe there'll be something else.
Well, it kills planeswalkers.
2 lightning bolts.
Yeah.
And then this was the blue one that just got spoiled. Blue. That's it. 3 mana, but blue. Put a token onto the battlefield that is a copy of target creature you control.
Seems pretty good.
And then if it's your turn, as with all of them, if it's your turn, scry 2.
Like that's a really cheap clone effect, but it is
3
pretty
blue.
hard mono blue.
Still.
Meh.
All those, and the black one hasn't been spoiled yet as of the time of recording. So those all seem pretty cool. Those seem like a really cool cycle.
What do you guys bet the black one is going to be?
So,
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be black, and 1 destroy target creature. So then you get like some removal, which is very much black's flavor, but it's fucking hard to cast. But you also get to scry too.
Because these all do sort of kind of work towards removal, actually. Well, I mean, the blue one not as much, but like the red one is just burn, the green one is surprise blockers, the white one is wrath, everything.
I would actually think of the black one as being the tutor.
The tutor.
ooh,
Ooh, I could see
Because
that.
black is flush right now with removal.
Well, we know.
Well, it'd have to come into your hand then.
Not necessarily.
Could
Well,
be
okay, no, imagine this.
Jinx.
Right? You've been scrying, you can't find what you're looking for. So you cast this, you put it into your hand, you get a shuffle effect, and you scry 2.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really powerful card.
Yeah, it would probably be 5 then at least.
Maybe.
Or like
Well, if it's coming into your hand, right? It wouldn't. It's not put on top of the library with a scry effect as a bonus because
no. I mean,
her-
yeah, the tutor effect, like put it into your hand, right?
interesting.
That could
I
be
mean,
cool.
the
I look
o-
forward to seeing
the
what,
other-
what
I
it
mean,
is.
that's just a guess.
Yeah, I mean, my guess would be like target opponent like sacks 2 creatures or something.
or discards. No, it wouldn't be discarded
It
cards.
could be. Well, they don't have a lot of instant speed discard, so that seems unlikely. But if it was,
I mean,
Yeah,
hand attack
you
is
just
good.
like mind rot for
Oh, right.
like
yeah,
4.
instant speed.
That'd be
Instant speed
harsh.
tutor, I forgot
Draw
about that.
step, pitch 2, deal with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Although I think there has been comment from the design team that they do not want to put instant speed discard in.
That's
Well,
probably
hand
for
attack
the
is
best.
one of the biggest feels bad mechanics.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
Feels the worst.
Oh,
And last thing, sorry.
sorry. Speaking of things that feels bad, I will tell you guys. I have a really funny story to tell you guys later.
Okay. The last thing is there's a cycle that we've only seen 3 of so far, which is the archetypes. You guys familiar with these?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
So this one, I initially thought it was overcosted, but I could be wrong. So it's a 3/2 for 6 mana. It's a 3/2 for 4 blue.
All right.
Creatures you control have flying. Creatures your opponents control lose flying and cannot have or gain flying.
Huh.
So I initially was like, I don't know about that. But then I realized then the only way they can block your guys is if they have a creature with reach.
Yeah, it's basically the card essentially reads creatures you control have unblockable.
Essentially, yeah.
And it also makes all of their flying creatures much, much worse because flying is a big premium.
So you're usually paying an extra for the creature that has it.
That seems
So
quite good in limited.
then that's the blue one. The white one, the Archetype of Courage. These are all uncommons, by the way.
Wow.
The white one is 1 white for a 2/2.
Okay.
Creatures you control have first strike. Creatures your opponents control lose first strike and cannot have or
That
gain
seems
first strike.
really good.
That guy seems that is very aggressively costed. White weenie, but I mean obviously the cat lord, he's a big deal. But White Weenie's getting
that's
a gift
really,
with this
really
thing.
strong.
It's
Yeah.
very strong.
Well, 'cause
Like
that's-
honestly, 2/2 first strike for 3 is fine.
So that's 3.
2/2
right?
first strike for 3 gets in almost every time.
I think from what I'm getting out of this, like despite the fact that the white green god is not amazing, white is looking like an extreme. White was okay in Theros, but it looks very good in Born of the Gods.
Now I wanna test your color pie here, Alex.
Yeah.
So the other one that's been spoiled is the green one, the Archetype of Endurance. It is a 6/5. It costs 6 green.
So
8 mana.
8. Okay.
What are all your creatures gaining and all your opponent's creatures losing for that buy-in?
Trample?
No.
Death touch?
Better than that. It's very much in green's wheelhouse.
Intimidate?
No.
Wow, I'm just running out of.
Have you seen this one, Cam?
I have, but I've forgotten it.
You have any guesses?
No, I think I'm all out of color pie.
Is it just a
Guesses.
giant growth?
Hexproof.
Oh!
That's why it costs 8, because all your creatures have hexproof, and any creatures your opponents control lose it.
Throw some lightning greaves on that thing and
Welp.
F you, buddy.
Wait,
Yeah.
but you don't need it because it gives itself hexproof.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It has hexproof.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems unfun.
So I'm a big fan of pseudo haste effects.
Yeah. Like something that affects the board on another creature. Like a creature comes into play and it affects this other creature that can attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we think that it's gonna? So that black and red ones haven't been spoiled. So what do we think for black and red then?
Black is, to be honest, the red one's probably going to be kind of crappy and it's just going to
The
be
red
haste.
one's
Yeah,
no,
the
the red
red-
one might be fire breathing,
If it was fire breathing, that would be kind of. But the problem is, fire breathing isn't something you want to.
spread out.
It's probably going to be haste. It could be trample, which would be bananas.
Yeah, trample is minor to red. Yeah.
and
It's
then black,
Probably haste.
black. I'm
lifelink?
guessing intimidate or lifelink.
Or death touch.
Oh, death touch is way too powerful. Unless that thing casts for like 7.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, like blue got flying.
Yeah.
First
And white
strike.
got first strike. All right,
and
fine.
uncommon. Like
All right,
these
so
things
yeah,
are reasonably powerful.
I'm gonna say death touch or intimidate.
Like red could only get,
Like if it's cheap, it'll be intimidate. If it's expensive, it'll be death touch.
like because white got first strike, what does red have left? It's like haste or like double strike,
Ugh.
which would be super expensive.
Double strike seems. It's like it costs 9 or something.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be haste or fire breathing. It's probably gonna be cheaper. And
It wouldn't be, it wouldn't be
haste.
fire breathing.
You know, it'd be fun.
What?
Rummaging.
Oh.
That would be so disappointing for red players.
It's like, wah, wah.
Cam's
It's
all
the reason
Cam
that
looks
I
all
say that-
happy.
the
He's
reason
thinking
that I-
about like
Either that.
The reason I say that haste is
Draw
is
7, pitch 7.
the reason I say that haste is boring
know
is because
myself.
like anytime that red gets a cycle like this, they get haste, and it's like that's cool, but it only lasts a turn.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. So it would have to be pretty cheap, that creature. I
Here's
think.
another
It's like,
option.
oh, I can run I can run my Fanatic of Mogus directly into Desecration
Yep.
in this turn. Hot
So-
diggity dog.
Yeah, what about this, Graham? Like creatures you control gain +2/+0.
Ooh, I could see that, like a buff.
Yeah, just like a
But
tooth
then
buff.
the it needs to be
Something asymmetrical.
yeah, meaning then your opponent's creatures would have to be -2
right.
-2, which I don't think really works. I think it has to be
That'd
an
be super
ability.
harsh.
Oh, maybe it's your creatures come into play with haste. Your opponent's creatures come into the battlefield tapped.
No, it would have to just be do not have
They
haste and
can't
cannot
have
gain
haste.
Yeah.
it. Judging by the way the other 3 are templated.
Ugh. Yeah, haste is so weak. I mean, that thing could come
If
out
it
for
was really cheap,
it came out for like
If it's
3.
like red, you'd be like, oh shit.
actually, if
Yeah,
it was
if it
red,
was
that would
red,
be
red.
okay.
Like,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, 2/1 red.
Fair
red.
enough. I guess I wasn't counting how cheap it could possibly be.
Yeah. If it could just be 2 red,
Oh, this is just unfair.
it doesn't matter that it doesn't do a lot because it's coming down faster than everything else your opponents are doing.
Jeez, just like imagine like a red
And these
piker.
are uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably too strong.
Maybe.
I mean, the white one
We'll
is.
see.
I think the white one's too strong, and I can't wait to draft it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I think that white is looking really good so far from what we've seen. What
I
do you
think
guys
there's a
think?
lot of colors that are looking really good. I mean,
I still think black is looking really good because it has that one card,
the
Bioblight,
oh.
that seems
Oh,
really
yeah.
strong in,
Oh my
in,
God.
in a limited environment.
I
With
think
a lot
it-
of tokens.
So
I think that's
Bioblight
really
is
good and
it's what is it?
constructed.
It's black,
Uh,
and
target
then
creature gets -3/-3, as do all creatures that have the same name.
Yeah, I would play that in Highlander.
shame about your centaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like that kills almost all tokens except angels.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty great.
Yeah.
And like
Then-
it's a perfectly serviceable removal spell in its own right.
There's a lot of good black removal. There's the new
I'd play black for -3.
the new is it Infest?
Yeah, that's super good.
It's-
That's just a straight upgrade on Infest.
Drown in Sorrow. It's 1 black. All creatures get -2/-2.
And then scry 1.
Yeah.
Is it all creatures or just
Dragons
Or
for all
opponents.
creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
seems pretty good
Yeah.
to me?
The one
Seems like-
last removal spell that I'm kind of stoked about is Searing Blood.
Searing Blood, yeah.
Red, it shocks a creature. Is it
Yeah.
always a creature?
Yeah, 2 damage to a creature and 3 damage to that creature's controller.
Yeah, but it's better because you shock the creature, and then it's when that creature dies, for any reason. This
Oh,
turn.
not this turn. Is it this turn?
It's that
or
turn, I think. Like,
Okay.
read the text, but
when that creature dies this turn. Okay.
yeah. So it's like post combat or like whatever. If that creature's gonna hit the bin, you can shock it with this, and then dome your opponent for 3.
So
redirect that damage to their planeswalker.
Yep.
or it could also, for your opponent, it might serve as a pseudo falter effect, where they suddenly don't want to block with it.
I dig it. I guess the takeaway from this is we're excited about Born of the Gods.
Yay!
Looking forward to it.
Well, I think
hope we
that
get Keranos.
Mm.
I just want him to be weird.
The which the
Blue-red god.
oh he'll be in the next one because they've already they've already said the 5th god for this set is Phoenix, which is the blue-black one. So
you have to wait.
I'm looking forward to Phoenix. I hope he'll live up to expectations.
All right, and then
Oh yeah.
before
You
we
had a funny story.
yeah before we close the game or before we close the podcast, I have
Speaking of funny stories, I have to apologize before I forget for us all being total scrubs last episode and repeatedly saying ravenous rats over and over and over and over again, talking about Surge's hilarious
Relentless rats.
Yes.
even
We-
Surge.
Even Surge. We meant relentless rats. That was obvious. It was obvious to most of you through context. But I just wanted to apologize for effing that up so badly.
Wah, wah.
Relentless rats. Anyway, Kathleen, your story.
My story. I'm at Lady Planeswalkers, and we're playing Backdraft with Nelson's Cube, which is full of really good cards. And it's like Dark Confidant wheeling around the table and stuff like that.
It's like, I don't want it. It's a
Yeah.
backdraft. Give me the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. So I drafted 7 creatures in the entire draft, which was pretty good. But anyhow, so I was playing as my friend Missy, who actually had the deck that I had put together, which had a Druidic Satchel in it, which was not doing her a lot of good, I tell you what. So, just working as intended. But she was able to reveal cards, and I had this wonderful, sort of Voltron creature that I was doing some good flying damage with, and she Druidic Satcheled and was like, aha! An unsummon, excellent. And I was like, So then my turn came up and I drew a Mind Shrieker and I was like, baller. So then I played the Mind Shrieker and buffed my Mind Shrieker even though it couldn't attack because just pay 2, put card and top card of player of opponent's library into their graveyard.
And that's why I love Cube.
And Missy was like, fuck.
Nothing is better than getting some incidental scry extra or incidental mill extra value off scry. Scry effects. Like, oh boy, I need that.
Yeah. Yeah, Mind Shrieker is not good because of like mill so much as it's just good because it's like nope, you can't have that.
Yeah,
it's actually quite a good card.
It's really good because
it's fairly underrated, but like
well,
a friend of mine, Chris Ireland, will like swear by that card in Highlander because exactly that sort of situation. You're in a format where people are often tutoring things to the top of your library, and every once in a while you're just like,
well, yeah, it blows up Goblin Recruiter.
Ugh. Just like turf them. Yeah, because if you knock the first piece of that, it's like, well, too bad your Goblin stack's broken.
Well, and if you have some extra mana floating around, and these games went long, so we did because these decks were awful. Like everybody was playing at least a 4-color pile, right?
Right. Then he just wins the game on his own.
Well, and just the thing is though, Missy had like a really big creature on the ground, and I had a big creature in the air, and then I cast the Mind Shrieker, and so then I would just I would just save my mana because I had nothing to do with it anyhow because my deck was awful until her turn, and then I would just mill 4 or 5 cards off the top, buff up my Mind Shrieker, take away all her answers, and then be like, come at me, bro, and then I could safely attack with my big ass flyer on her turn because I had something to hold back her ground dude.
Right.
So it was defensive, probably not the most efficient way of using it, but it was good.
That sounds awesome.
Yarp.
So backdraft, that's fun.
Yeah. So I think that'll definitely do it for this week. Thank you all for joining us. Tap Concede. Thanks to you guys for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
We will be. When's this going up? Tuesday, and then this coming weekend, we will be at GP Vancouver. A bunch of us, some of us.
Some of you.
Not me.
So come and say hi.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a draft pod together. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye.